So I'm out trying to photograph barn owls, and there are certainly things that I've found that help me get better shots. So I'm going to share with you 5 of my top tips for getting better shots of barn owls. So tip number 1 is location. Now this isn't just the habitat that the barn owls like. Obviously they like grassy fields and anywhere where there's plenty of mice and voles to snack on and all that sort of business. But this is more to do with a location that's going to be sort of suited to photography. So I know about 7 territories where there are barn owls, and I've tried photographing at most of them, and some of them are more difficult than others. So this one that I'm at now is particularly good because it's a flat open field, which gives me a great view right across it. So that's going to be really beneficial. I can see the barn owl coming. A lot of the other ones that I've been to are on hills, so you only get this very short sort of warning that the barn owl's coming towards you. Whereas this one, I can watch them and I can see when they're approaching. Also, you want to bear in mind and see if there's anywhere or anything in that location that is going to make the photograph look even better. So this particular spot I chose, I knew that barn owls were here. I've been through here earlier on in the year and it looks a bit green and scrubby and not much going on, but this last couple of weeks I came through and everything's grown up, and this field was a field of buttercups. That gave such a nice colour to the bottom of the image. Got these environmental shots of the barn owl flying along and this lovely colour at the bottom of the frame. So yeah, try and use the bits that are in the location, or scout out locations where you know there are certain things, and use them as part of your composition, because that will make your shots look so much better. So there was a second location I'd chosen as well, and that was this location where I knew there were barn owls, but they hunted around a sort of small silver birch wood, and that was I'd not really seen them in that environment before, and it just gave these really interesting and unique images where the background sort of had these silver birch in them, and just gave what I thought was a bit of a different image to the normal sort of barn owl images you see. Tip number 2 goes into the preparation category. So when you've found your location, it's actually worth spending a couple of visits just watching the barn owls. Have your camera out and, in case you do get a shot, but really pay attention to where they're going. Keep a bit of distance so you can see where their favoured routes are, and watch where they go. And that's going to give you so much information as to where you can put yourself and where you can get those shots that you're after. So you can consider where the sun is. So this location, I'm down this end of the field at the moment because the sun is setting over that way, and so I'm hoping I'll be in for a chance of some backlit wings, but it's actually about to set, so probably not. But yeah, you can use all those little bits of information to just build a better picture and hopefully get a better composition at the end of it. So tip number 3 would be, for me, keeping as quiet as you can. There's a few things I do here to minimise my noise. Obviously try and wear clothing that's not going to rustle too much, because I've found that they are definitely more alerted to noise than they are visuals. I tend to put my camera on silent mode. Now I've not got the best camera for that. It's the Canon EOS R, and it's got that warping business, so if you're panning with the bird, your frame starts to get all warpy and everything gets a bit slanty. However, I've still found that I get more shots using that, because if it's flying towards you or if it's flying slower, you tend not to get this sort of strange artifact. And I think if your shutter speed's a little bit higher too. So I put that on, and yeah, I'll sacrifice a few shots, but I have been out before and had it on with normal shutter, and that sound has alerted them. They've got inquisitive, flown over, given me a squawk and flown off. And you know, if you follow my channel, the last thing I want to be doing is disturbing the wildlife. So it's important to me, rather sacrifice a few shots than, you know, scare a barn owl away from its hunting ground. And you know, it's returned some pretty good results. As a rule, they leave me alone and they continue to quarter the field. So yeah, for me, it's keeping as quiet as you can, keeping as unobtrusive as you can. So tip number 4 is to actually use a tripod. I really like hand holding my camera when I'm out because it gives me a lot more freedom. However, with barn owls, if you know their territory, you can predict where they're going to be hunting, and often you're going to be in quite low light. So the more you can minimize shake on your camera, the more likely you are to get a sharper shot. I try to keep my shutter speed to around 1,000th of a second, but as the light fades, I'll keep dropping it and dropping it, push the ISO as far as I'm comfortable. And you know, I have been down to 400 and still got some quite clear shots. And I think that was mainly because I was mounted on a tripod. So all you've got to contend with is the pan. And tip number 5 for me is to keep subtle, keep hidden, you know, keep everything to a minimum. So when I go out, I use gloves. I cover my hands up with gloves. Like I say, I try not to show my face. I use camouflage or muted colours, and I position myself, as you can see by my setup here, at a field edge where I can get a bit of coverage from the stuff that's actually growing there naturally. So plonk yourself at a field edge. If you plonk yourself in the middle of the field, they'll see you straight away. So just try and keep to sort of minimal interference as you can. Don't make yourself an object to be seen, and try and mix in with your surroundings. Keep your movements slow, and you know, try and emulate what's going on around you. Sudden quick movements, any loud noises are going to draw their attention. So keep subtle, keep quiet, and enjoy the show. So my final tip, or sort of an extra tip really, is make sure you empty your memory cards when you get home, because I didn't do that and I wiped a night's work off, reformatted it, thought I'd saved it and I hadn't. Very painful. Yeah, that's a different situation, and that is the trouble with wildlife photography. You can generate so much footage if you're shooting it. I can't remember what mine shoots at now, 10 frames a second say, and you're shooting video, you can end up with so much footage that your sort of cataloguing has to be spot on. And it's best to, I know it's terrible, just do it first thing when you get home or first thing in the morning, because if you're like me and you're busy, I was rushing out and my card was in my computer but I just hadn't saved it, and I reformatted it and recorded a load of stuff over it. So that was pretty painful, but you know, you only do that a few times, don't you, before you check every time. So yes, there we go. Well, been out here for quite some time now and there's no sign of the barn owls tonight. So, and this happens sometimes, you can study them all you want and then it does change. And you know, that's part of the magic of wildlife photography, or the frustration of wildlife photography, depending on which way you look at it. Okay, that's it for this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please like and subscribe. I'm actually out on my second night now trying to replace some of that footage that I accidentally overwrote, but it's raining now, so time for me to pack up and come back to see the barn owls another day. Right, until next time people, have a good one and happy shooting.